Good afternoon to all. It's my pleasure to address you today to speak about what I believe are the twin foundations of tomorrow, brain capital and nature capital, and how together they can build the regenerative economies of the future. So let me first start with defining regeneration. So regeneration begins by the realization that humans are not separate from the nature. And in fact, we are embedded in it, we depend on it, and we are responsible for it. In biology, regeneration means the ability of a system, whether a cell or an organism or an ecosystem, to continuously renew itself. So it's really taken from biology, this concept. And in our societies and economy, we don't behave differently. In fact, it should mean that exactly the same, which is the ability to restore, to generate value, not only for ourselves, but also for the planet that sustains us. So we are in symbiosis with the planet. Now, there are regenerative principles that we can start with. Regeneration calls us to go beyond sustainability. So it's not only sustainability, we need to go beyond sustainability. Sustainability still asks us to do less harm. So we accept the harm we created for the planet, but we try to do some measures to ensure that these are minimized. But regeneration goes beyond. So in reality, it's the sum of 1 + 1 = 3. And it's about creating systems that gives much more than it takes. So this is embedded in what? In innovation and research and development. And also that recognize that humans and planetary health are inseparable. So our actions, not only they have to create value for us, but also they have to regenerate any action that we take for the planet. And this is really going beyond profit, beyond financial and economic value. This is really planetary and societal well-being and value that we need to continue working on as economists and as other disciplines. So here I want to show you what I mean by from a net zero to net positive. And imagine on one hand, the left-hand side here, as you see, the conventional business is extractive, is degenerative. So then we have the green practices, which are in fact reduce the footprint, or it's like the recycling we're doing. Then in the middle, you have the neutrality, which is the net zero. And what I am interested in today is to go beyond, so going further, and it seeks to co-evolve human and natural systems to achieve a net positive handprint. And this is what we call the new frontiers that we are actually currently working on. And this is what we are interested in to develop through research and development and innovation in the years to come. So from this perspective, what I call the regenerative perspective, in our project, we are developing economies that are flow networks. So they are dynamic, interconnected, and they are adaptive. And this is key in the construction. So we must move beyond this simple economics toward complexity economics, where feedbacks, resilience, and adaptations are the rule and not the exception. So, you know, the simplicity of economics, it becomes much more complex when we think in a regenerative mode or paradigm. And then obviously what we are trying to design here is regenerative innovation systems that are built on collaboration, on living labs, on experiments, and also on shared value creation. And the basis of all of this, it's our brain capital and also the overall collective restoration of nature capital worldwide. And then with this, we can develop what we call the regenerative markets landscape that are in fact essential in the construction. So in fact, if we think a little bit further, regenerative design requires the right governance framework. And in fact, we need to have impact finance mechanism, impact investment mechanism, and reliable accounting systems that measure the positive impact of this development, not simply the reduction of the harm or the absence of the harm. So it means that we are, with this system, we are moving beyond the GDP matrix, and then in fact, we are trying to measure the well-being indicators that capture the truly matters, what really matters, which is planetary health, human flourishing, and long-term resilience. So this really will allow us to think in a different way. And what is this different way? Is to connect or interconnect the brain capital and the nature capital. So the brain capital is the stock of brain health, skills, knowledge, and creativity that drive innovation and enhances productivity. The nature capital is what we know already, is the stock of ecosystem, biodiversity, and natural assets that provide us life-supporting services. Together, these are the two engines of regeneration, on one cognitive and one ecological. And in fact, both of them, they require the mutual flourishing, which is a healthy brain and a healthy ecosystem. So this is really the hypothesis on the basis of which we are working on. And obviously, from the nature capital perspective, we have moved a lot in terms of accounting, valuation, but yet in brain capital, we are still into embryonic research that we have started in collaboration with neuroscientists and my colleagues, Ibanez and Harris Ayer. They have been really pioneers in this construction. So the valuing of brain and nature capital, the basis is the co-benefit, and the co-benefits are also the essential component of regeneration. When we measure cognitive and ecological assets together, something really powerful remains, because this is the multiplier effect, and we begin to see emerging the value of 1 + 1 = 3. So the value of regeneration. When we restore systems, for example, forests, oceans, soil, urban green spaces, we don't only increase biodiversity and carbon capture, but also we restore cognitive health. We expose the nature, we expose ourselves into a positive dynamic, environmental dynamic, in fact, that reduces, for example, mental disorders overall, but also that regulates us as humans. But also at the same time, when our brains are healthy, and also creative and connected, and there is this collective intelligence within the societies, then we better innovate, we increase value, and also we use wisely the resources of the planet. And of course, we tend to generate or regenerate our system. So it is a positive sum. And I think this is what we have to work together on, the co-benefit, and try to understand, to better understand the feedback. So we try to measure, of course, as economists, we try to measure brain capital. As I said, nature capital is measurable nowadays. There are markets for it, but brain capital, we are trying to understand what it means in practice. This is the interaction between brain health and brain skills, and these are all also two components that reinforce each other. This dashboard, as you can see here, it gives a time series cross-country analysis for many countries, and then we have more than 24,000 observations and 60 indicators that you can all play with, and to see really what we have in terms of the brain dashboard. So I would like to move without further ado to what does it mean in terms of investing. So of course, impact investment framework is a powerful catalyst, because not only it looks for profit, but also it looks for impact. And I think it can direct capital toward impact, means innovative healthcare solutions, educational and cognitive development programs, and for example, resilient communities, green communities, conservation type of projects, restoration type of project. And this means that they are really participating into this regenerative thinking and economic paradigm. And we need to go forward with it and connect it to the ESG framework, environment, social, and governance. And here again, Our framework, which is based on regeneration, embedded, in fact, anchored into the two capital stocks, which are brain and nature, they could be anchoring stocks in the environment and social, and also governance through particularly stakeholder engagement and ensuring that both the environmental and social component of the ESG framework interact with each other toward what the framework of regeneration that we are talking about. So finally, our assumption here is to move our economies from extraction to regeneration. Regenerative economy is built on the synergies between healthy brain and healthy ecosystems, which is the next economic paradigm. Both brain health and nature health are not cost anymore to reach them. These are productive assets. These are assets in which we could invest from the beginning. And measuring brain capital and nature capital and through innovative finance and investment mechanism can make regenerative economy or economics investable. So we can invest in regeneration. So in fact, when investing in regeneration and particularly in brain and nature capital, we can build further resilience and well-being. And obviously what we need to do is to align our knowledge, our collective knowledge, the capitals, including also the financial capital and also the nature brain capital, and also with care to regenerate both mind and of course brain and planet. So thank you very much for your attention, and I look very much forward to follow up on the discussions that you will have in the working group. Thank you.